Step into video game land. Welcome to Fine Time.
Hello, party people. It's your boy Drake. Wow, I almost forgot what I say to open the show. It's been so long since we did this, Steve.
Welcome to A Fine Time for Healing. It's Steve. We're going to go over medications and find ways to spend the time.
You know, Kevin, I don't think A Fine Time for Healing is updated in like a year and a half. I think they might be, I hope they're just taking a break.
I bet you they got intimidated by us and said, we need to shut it down. We're not getting the hits we used to because the other Fine Time crew are taking all the listens.
Well, I can tell you this, like when I search for Fine Time now, it actually does come up Fine Time first, not A Fine Time for Healing. So I think we have surpassed them.
That's kind of sad, though. It's an end of an era.
It is. I mean, they were our nemesis for a while, you know? That's okay. We still love you, Fine Time for Healing. Okay? If you're still out there, I don't know why I'm presuming they're listening to us, Steve.
Yeah, maybe they were only our nemesis. Maybe they just didn't even consider us.
Yeah, it's the Don Draper. I don't think about you at all. You know, we were the ones obsessed with them. You know,
if somebody from A Fine Time from Healing does hear this, please let us know on Blue Sky, because I think that would legitimize us.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, they've been what? We discovered they started in what, like 2011? Like, come on. I mean, they're an OG in this business.
And we've been talking shit about them for 4 years, so.
And if someone listens to both shows, let us know about that too, because how's your life going?
That would be incredible. Is there a single crossover listener?
That's very plausible that somebody went to look at A Fine Time for Healing to listen to the newest episode and just fucking accidentally clicked on us and kept listening. That could be a thing.
But do you think any Fine Time for Healing listener went to us and heard us talk about like weird dicks or like, you know?
I mean, I think it's kind of like a cathartic pairing. No?
Okay. Maybe. I mean, look, this is therapy needs to be multifaceted. You know, You can't just be serious. Sometimes you need to talk about JAV titles. That's all.
Yeah, it's exactly. I 100% agree.
All right, guys. Well, here's how we're going to kick off the year of our Lord 2026. I can't believe we're about to do this, but you guys have a debt to pay because both of you, Steve and Kevin, had to play Anthem.
Now, we only agreed to pre-fill in those coffers in advance. We haven't lost our money yet.
I mean,
that is true.
That is true, but it's good. You might want to get this $500 under your belt before.
And we agreed to do this because Anthem's going to die long before our bank account does. So,
yeah, we had to do it now because if we waited until next big deal, the game would be dead. I think it dies on January 12th, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, this was the last time we could do this, and I'm glad both of you did this as punishment. I'll give the floor to you guys. You're the ones who played the game, but can I ask you guys up front, just I want to know right now, was it punishment?
Oh, I'd say this game died long before I got to it, but
I had a significantly better time with Anthem than I was expecting to. Like, I legitimately did, and I'm glad that I was forced into playing it. Most of what I'm going to talk about is criticism, but overall, I enjoyed my time. I think that Anthem was a overall good game.
Yeah. You know, and that's kind of the thing I was I shouldn't say expecting you to say. I kind of figured you guys would both come out here and be like, it's all right. You know, because like all these games that kind of famously fail, they're never that bad. They really aren't. Lawbreakers wasn't that bad. Concord wasn't that bad from what I played from that beta. It was fine.
See, that's the thing, though. Battle in Wonderworld gave me some real material to work with here. Like, we all had a big laugh about that. Box Fox? What the fuck is that shit? Here it's like, this is average. This is painfully average. My PS5 in-review stats, because we all got our in-review stats in the email, said, I spent about 28 hours playing Anthem. And this is like the most average game I've ever played in this show. And in that way, this game sucks.
I have like a hard disagree. I think this game has very high highs and very low lows. I guess maybe that averages out to average, but I don't know. I don't think of it as being like a flatline average whatsoever.
And you know what really sucks about that? Everyone here that hasn't played it yet has to take our word for it because it's going to be gone.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if somebody listens to this when it comes out, you've got like 4 days if you want to get on it.
That's the week. You can spend the weekend with Anthem.
So hey, Anthem was already delisted from digital storefronts however long ago, which means I needed to rescue a disc from eBay for this particular project. I paid $4 for a used copy, including shipping. I got a copy marked as a pre-owned GameStop, whatever they were selling for $20. But this was brand fucking new. The shrink wrap was fresh. Whatever. It had everything that you would expect in there, including the paper inside welcoming us to Anthem for many, many, many years of Anthem, you guys. We swear.
Wait, hold on. There was like a greeting card, like,
yeah, and
welcome to your new life.
Yeah, and if you don't mind, I'd like to read it for you all right now.
Yes, please. I was going to ask.
Welcome to Anthem. Our mission at BioWare is to create worlds of adventure, conflict, and companionship that inspire you to become the hero of your story. This is your invitation to that adventure, to come explore this new world, get to know its people, enjoy it with your friends, and forge many stories of your own. Anthem is the culmination of many years of hard work, craftsmanship, and love for us, and we are thrilled and humbled to finally be able to present it to you. We are excited that you're here and grateful that you're coming along on this journey with us. We hope that you'll find many wonderful adventures here and that you'll all be playing together for many years to come. As the freelancers say, strong alone, stronger together. Signed, the Anthem team.
Well, okay, look. I will give him this. It lasted for what, 6 years? 7 years? It was up for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So that is, I would consider that years. Now, I don't know if they gave us years of content or anything, right? I mean, they didn't, but
I do think it's funny hearing the phrasing about like all of the love and craftsmanship we put into it or whatever the fuck. Like after having read that Jason Schreier article years ago after Anthem came out, it makes you listen to that phrasing they selected in a little bit of a different light.
I think what was really telling to me about that article is, remember, they weren't allowed to talk about Destiny. This is not Destiny. Don't even mention Destiny. Don't even talk about anything Destiny's doing, even though they're making Destiny with jetpacks. Like, but don't talk about it. That was the point. When I read that in the article, I was like, oh no. Like, at least realize the game that you're making, guys.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up because definitely the whole time I was playing this, my like direct point of reference was comparing it to Destiny and Destiny 2 the entire time.
So how does it compare? Tell me about it.
You know what? I mean, so I think that's another reason it's funny that I liked this as much as I did, because I don't really like those games. I don't actively dislike those games, but I don't seek those games out. And even when I played Destiny and I played Destiny 2, I did the campaign. I didn't do any of the seasonal stuff. I didn't like dick around and do any of the like, extra stuff. I just kind of like mainlined the game and finished it and turned it off with both of them. And I did that. I obviously did the same thing with Anthem. And I honestly don't like, I think Destiny and Destiny 2 are overall better games. They don't have the issues that Anthem has, but I also don't like think of Destiny standing like heads and shoulders above Anthem. I really like, and I just genuinely don't. The reason I liked Anthem so much is because the movement and the flight feel so fucking good. The shooting feels really good too, actually. And I think once I really got in the groove of how that game handles, I was like, okay, I'm an Anthem truther. Like there's really, really something here. And again, yeah, there's issues in the game, but it didn't take long for me after I like realized how much I was enjoying like just like flying around and handling the game to think like I really feel like it's a shame that Anthem Next never got off the ground. And the foundation of this game really deserves more than what it like wound up with. So yeah, I think because of that, where are you at on, I guess, on just like the movement and handling? Did you like get something out of that, Steve? Or?
Look, I didn't play Destiny. I listened to Andre be like, man, I'm sinking all the time in the world into Destiny. And I'm like, man, this isn't something I ever need to do. And I never did. So I didn't. So I don't have that point of comparison. So I'm doing tutorial missions where I don't know. It just feels kind of basic to me. And I feel kind of bad because I know someone at BioWare spent at least half of an hour on a cocktail napkin scribbling all this shit down. So I feel a little bad about, them trying to do pretend world building here. But you said, and I found it interesting that you said once you get into it, because you're burying the lead a little bit there, it's kind of a drag trying to get to the actual game, part of the game.
Yeah, the tutorial is a little, yeah. I think as soon as they let you fucking fly and use the jetpack, though, like then I was like, okay, once this clicks, that's what.
You spend a lot of time at that fucking base, dragging yourself to markers where they're lore dumping you, because it is very hard to care, not only just because it's the end of service, but yeah, some of these story beats are for the main campaign, and a whole lot of them aren't. And then you go to the menu, and you try doing what you want the game to do and play with partners, but then, oh, wait, it's almost the end of the game. No one wants to do the missions right now. So then you just say, fuck it, we'll play on our own. And then fine, I do get into it. And maybe this is my own fault because, you know me, I like to play big, bulkier characters, so I pick the big, bulky mech. And I do lose some maneuverability, but you can't lose if you pick that. I as long as you smush in the upgrade parts that you get along the way and clear the missions, you can't lose. Everything just plinks off of you. You're smushing guys in there. Yeah, you can't fly as good as the other ones, but you still can. You still have decent flight control. I don't know. You're just doing the same shit again and again until credits roll.
Yeah, funny enough, one of my biggest criticisms. So the like. Everything just like clinks off you can't lose. That's not limited to just the big bulky mech. Like the difficulty balancing in general was one of my bigger issues with this game, because I played with like the mid-range mech. And it never felt like the stakes are too high. A lot of times you can just zip around shit and avoid it if you want. And at a certain point, probably around halfway through the game, I got access in a shop to buy some, and because I wasn't like even paying that much attention to all the little like stalls and shops, but all of a sudden I could buy these fucking weapons that were so incredibly overpowered. It's not even funny. So I'm talking like I was currently using weapons in like the low 20 levels, and these were in like the mid 50 levels. And I used like a negligible amount of premium currency that I already had way more than enough of. So we talked just when we did the Metroid Prime 4 show, I talked about, you can do that thing where it like shows you where all the hidden items are, but it doesn't like tell you, hey, you're like kind of turning on easy mode. Like, do you actually even want to do this? It just fucking, you say, I'm going to do this. And then you find out, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't have done that. This is kind of the same thing. It felt like turning on like, and the game already wasn't difficult, but this really turned on easy mode without asking for it. And so I just fucking plowed through the rest of the game with those weapons, and combat wasn't already an issue. So it just made it faster.
Well, my feelings on how that worked in Metroid Prime aside, I think here that maybe was the point. Like, oh man, we're gonna just demolish this planet. We're the Americans from Avatar. We're just gonna demolish this fucking planet. I don't know, that kind of felt like how it was going after a while, because we're going grave robbing halfway through the game, and that's when they make you interact with the free world, and I hated that shit. It's like, hey, have you been doing things along the way? Tut tut, time to do some homework. Time to revive guys, and thankfully I didn't need to like revive real people.
Was there anybody playing? Did you see anybody else online?
I had people playing with me almost every mission I did.
Wow.
I turned on join me for missions, that didn't work, but I usually found people on free play, which you had to do to go grave robbing.
That's kind of incredible, honestly.
Yeah, I was surprised, and because like there's an option where you can just go in and like opt to like jump into another player's like campaign mission that you've already done, and quite often I would have like 3 other people playing those missions with me. I was expecting to do the entire thing solo.
That's cool.
Yeah, I thought that was really neat.
Because when me and Vin played Battleborn, and no, you don't need other people to play the campaign, but like if you want to do like the multiplayer thing, we couldn't even queue. We said like, hey, after we did the campaign, which is what we were there to do, okay, let's try to queue up for multiplayer. We couldn't get a match. You need 10 people to play. It's a 5v5 game. We could not get a match on PS4, which surely was the best selling version. So
that's pretty shitty.
Yeah. So it seems like there's more people playing Anthem right now than, and
I'm sure some of that is because it's at end of life, and the people who did like Anthem maybe want another. I bet you if we did this a year ago, it wouldn't be the same.
No.
I want to go back. So Steve talked about the section of the game where they make you fucking go and do everything in the open world. So basically, I think this is like shit that if you were playing, this is roughly halfway through the game. If you were playing like, how they want you to play, and you're spending a whole bunch of time in like free play and just like going around, they're thinking that there's like thousands of people playing this game and that it's going to be like, a big vibrant thing. I think a lot of these, they give you 4 fucking checklists of shit you have to do in the open world. I think you would organically have done a lot of that stuff already if you've been playing this for a month and weren't just mainlining the campaign. However, pretty much none of that shit I had done. This is like finding hidden items and dealing with like pop-up scenarios and kill X amount of enemies with different weapon or attack types or whatever. I fucking hated this part of the game so much. I bet you this took me like 3 or 4 hours doing all of this shit. And I really was enjoying myself up to that point, but I cannot overstate how much of a fucking slog that part of the game was.
So just to be clear, this is something you have to do to get to like the next mission or something.
Yeah. At a certain point, they're like, you have to go into free play. You have to find these 4 tombs. You go into the tomb, and then it like it unlocks like your list of all the shit you have to do. So it'd be like, go find fucking 20 hidden treasure chests and go like shield bash 50 guys or like, but these are like fairly extensive lists. And it was fucking horrible.
That sounds pretty obnoxious, if I'm being real.
Yeah, especially when we've been solving all of our problems by shooting things. I mean, you do all of that shit anyway. We're shooting things in the face and blowing things up. And sometimes we're carrying things from one space to another. And Steve, it sounds an awful lot like you Monster Hunter, and you suck that game's dick all the time, but there's an increasing sense of urgency and challenge in those missions where I have to manage my resources and things. But no, I'm just showing up with big strong mech and punching the button until I win.
This game sounds like it would have been actually cool if it were challenging.
It could have been,
is what I'm gathering.
The thing I hate so much about that too is like it always grosses me out when they're like, hey, we made all of this shit, we're going to force you to do it. If you wanted people to like go through and do that stuff and experience that part of the game, then just incentivize them to do it by making it cool and making it fun. Don't say we're going to fucking throw the brakes on the campaign and you're going to go spend 3 or 4 hours doing all of this shit because we fucking tell you to. I hate that.
And then the stuff in the tomb itself is like, well, here's more checklists to get the things that can power up your mech even more. I'm like, well, no, I don't want to do more things. I'm already nearly unstoppable. What use am I gonna find with this shit for? I just really want to keep this story going, and that's dumb as fuck. You find the ancient mech, and then your flaky lackey who keeps hinting that he's gonna turn on you. Guess what? He turns on you.
I didn't see that coming. Maybe I'm just fucking dumb.
Kevin, the whole time he's like, man, I totally want to be out there on the field. And then he totally goes out there on the field.
He's also seemed like a genuine friend, I thought. I was a little taken aback.
You build the new ancient mech because, of course, you can. It's what's a mech but a thing of plans. You kick the crap out of him. You beat the snot out of the devotees to the titular anthem. Yes, the anthem is a real thing, Andre.
That's what I wanted to ask. I was going to ask that. So the anthem is a actual thing.
It's an actual song, that ancient song that drives people crazy. There's no Alan anthem. That's not a main character. It's
a song.
Yes.
Do you get to hear the anthem?
Yes.
Wow.
You don't understand it, but we hear it.
Okay.
Credits roll. They find the corpse for another ancient civilization, but oh, geez, guys, we're not putting out more content for this thing. The end.
You guys remember how Paul McCartney did like the ending theme to Destiny, like the first one? That should have been like the Destiny. That should have been like the titular Destiny.
I have a few tech things. Actually, Steve, I want you to lead off starting about the loading times, and then I want to elaborate on what you have to say.
So even though I'm playing on PlayStation 5, they never made a PlayStation 5 versions, and since it's online all the time, that doesn't make the load times any faster, so definitely load times on PS4. Especially when we're waiting for people to not come online to play with you.
Well, I guess I can say, having experience with I play a lot of these types of games, is that like Destiny, obviously, and you know this, Kevin, from playing it as well, Destiny and Destiny 2, you're just floating in space for a good 30 to sometimes 60 seconds, just waiting for your destination to load. And you're just looking. I mean, that's why they let you decorate your ships and shit, because you're going to be looking at that for a while. So I've learned to accept that inevitability from the PS4 era of these games loading, you know?
Yeah,
but
they don't have anything.
Still,
they don't have anything fun like that for you, because because after a while I'm like, fuck it, I'm running these solo, and if anyone wants to join, they can join. And even then, it's like, let's take at least almost a minute to load this mission.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did not buy a physical copy of this. I actually got this digitally like 2 years ago because it was like fucking $4, or it was like dirt cheap. And this is when we were thinking Anthem Next was going to be a thing. So I was like, I'm just going to buy this and then have it if that winds up being a thing. And so this was on PS4. When I got my PS5, you could so I had an external hard drive with all my like a bunch of my PS4 games, and I just fucking took my external drive and plugged it into the back of my PS5 for all of the like PS4 shit that I wasn't really playing. I didn't realize for the first like 3 or 4 hours that not only was I dealing with the servers and the already long load times, but I was loading this off of my external PS4 hard drive.
Yikes.
I literally was like 3 to 4 minutes for loading times. And then when I finally fucking realized that and put the game on my like PS5 SSD, still long, but not as bad.
I think it's definitely server reliant, because I don't know how much of this Kevin experienced, but there were times where things were just laggy for a second, and I just have server disconnects, and I'm like, oh boy, Anthem's already getting disconnected. And and thankfully it would usually let me hop back into the mission where it remembered I was left off, but not always.
Ooh, I didn't have any of that.
Yeah. God, that reminds me of the bad old days of like Phantasy Star Online or Phantasy Star Universe. If you get booted in the middle of a mission, tough titties for you. You are fucked. Like it does not matter. All your friends get to go on.
No, I mean, I know I've been having some internet issues around here lately, but these were all server things lately, because I'm I'm like looking at my other things. I'm like, no, everything's still connected to the internet. Then it even says like servers having an issue, guys.
And you weren't playing off the fucking portal or something like that, right? Like you were.
No.
Okay.
I want to talk about graphics for a minute. When I first booted this up and I was playing the tutorial, my son said something that like resonated with me through the whole game, and he was like, "This is weird. It has really good and really bad graphics at the same time." And I think he was like right on the money. He's right. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a PS4 game, so there's a limitation there, but it can look very good. But it also has some assets that stick out, like even in like some of the like menu and UI stuff. And the pre-rendered cutscenes can be pretty fucking rough sometimes.
This is a dumb thing to say about a video game, but I don't think you can look directly at Anthem. You can't consider it in terms of, oh, look at them graphics, because no, it's just not happening.
I love when you say graphics, by the way. Turbo Graphics 16.
No, the boy's right.
Yeah. It looks good and bad at the same time, which was interesting.
I love the art direction of it. I think like artistically it looks really cool. I think like the mechs and stuff look cool. That's why I was like interested in the first place. And you could fly. I'm like, okay, cool. But it doesn't really hit that way in game sometimes. I remember, and again, this is just beta experience. I remember a lot of the foliage looked like booty. Like that made the game look really bad. So yeah, I think there's like really good stuff and really bad stuff.
The foliage does not improve in the final product.
Boy.
Well, and even it does have good art direction, but it like with so many things with this game, it has repetition issues. There's not enough variance. There's not enough variance with the areas you play in. There's repetitive enemy types. The mission structure is incredibly repetitive. And I think that was a big criticism with this game. And I could see that being like very wearing. I think because I was just enjoying the act of like flying around and shooting shit, I was able to cope with that. But I think it's a big issue.
There's a bandit encampment over there. Yeah, there's a bandit encampment everywhere, guys. I mean, holy shit.
Yeah, at least you could say about Destiny, Kevin. It's like you're on ruined Earth in Russia. You go to the goddamn moon. You're going to Venus and Mars and shit. You know, Venus with like vegetation. At least you get to see like a lot of different type of shit. You know. Which I think really matters in a game like this.
Yeah, some of the map, like it's not like it's like all the same looking jungle, but like a lot of it is that, there's not like many points where you get to a new area and it's like, fuck yeah, it feels different here.
It might feel a little different if some of it pushed back, but as we keep going over, none of it does. So you're just showing up, pushing the button until it says objective complete, and then moving on to the next thing. So the sameness really hits you pretty quickly.
Is there cool bosses?
No.
There's a few points where it's like here's something big, but they are pretty much all just like damage sponges, I think.
That's fine. I mean, like, do they look? Is there like some cool aliens or something, or is it like just like a big mech you fight or something like?
Andre doesn't need to look on YouTube for the spectacle fights in Anthem. They're not here.
They're not very spectacular.
I mean, the final boss was a little spectacle-y, but that was the exception rather than the rule.
Okay.
Oh my god, that's stupid. That was so dumb. But yeah, the last Anthem boss was kind of dumb. Oh look, it's the. It's the Cardinal or whatever the fuck we were calling him the whole game. He's dead, but now he's the ghost of the Anthem. Let's shoot him to death. Oh no, patoo, patoo. Oh, I guess guns do work on Anthem ghosts after all. Rich World's my ass. I don't know, Kevin. See, that's the whole thing about this game. Nothing about this game was absolutely outwardly offensive. Besides its insistence to always be online, but nothing really stood out to me either. And, I mean, I'm not going to miss this game when it's gone. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with this disc being a coaster in a week. It's fine.
Yeah, you know what? I am glad though that I took the time to play this. I've got a soft spot for it. I really do think it's a shame that it just like fizzled into this. I wish Anthem Next deserved to be a thing.
That really could have been something. That's kind of one of my big what ifs of the last like 10 years. What if they really did that? I think they could have legitimately saved the game. I do.
Yeah, it just because I'm just repeating myself, but the foundation is so strong there. I just really like, at no point was I like, I'm so fucking bored because it just felt good flying around with the jetpack, like the controls and the way, how long you can be in the air with the jetpack, how high you can go, everything just kind of, comes together in this package that makes like all of this like bullshit we've talked about not really matter near as much.
I know what this is. Kevin, also known as the bank, is trying to weasel out of paying me my $500 fine time dollars for spending 28-ish hours on my PlayStation 5 playing Anthem.
Well, how would that work? I would say that like you don't get your money because you didn't like it, but I get my money because I liked it.
Or whatever your kooky Canadian accounting does.
I promise no schemes here.
We should. Okay, well, now that you're officially putting the $500 in both of your fine time accounts, I feel like I should have a sound effect for this, and I don't have one. And I feel kind of, man. I mean, we should have a making money sound when we get something right? Like,
you don't have
don't know.
Cash register sound effect in there?
Yeah, can we just like rip off the cha-ching off of like Pink Floyd's Money?
I could. Oh, I have how about this? Should we just play some RC Pro-Am? Bam.
I don't know. That sounds like making money, but it's.
Okay.
I'm not in control of the sound effects.
Okay, sorry. I was kind of unprepared for this.
Okay. Yeah. I have one final thought on Anthem that I just want to share as a personal anecdote before I'm done. When I was a kid, I was given the game Tribes on PC, and I could never get Tribes to work on our computer. And it really fucking pissed me off. Like I spent hours trying to get that game to work. I don't remember what the issue was, but I never got to play it. So I just got to like look at the artwork on the box. And Anthem reminds me of what I imagined Tribes to be, having never actually played it.
I remember this game Tribes. I have also never played it. I never had a PC worthy of playing that when it came out. But I absolutely do remember this game. So I'm glad you finally got to play Tribes. I mean Anthem.
In my heart, I did. Well, I think because we talked about we both had the same computer, the compact Presario with the like blue fucking. So yeah, I also did not have a computer worthy of running it. Obviously, but I was fucking dumb enough to try.
I could barely play Sonic R. I wasn't playing no goddamn Tribes.
Okay, I'll admit that I had to pull a super ghost and just look up Tribes on the fly right this second. And firstly, oh yeah, Tribes. Secondly, there is Tribes 3 on Steam you can buy right fucking now.
Tribes 3? That seems way too advanced for me, Kevin. I feel like I should play the original Tribes.
I think Anthem will just forever be my Tribes.
Okay. I accept that. Tribes Online, if they ever made one.
I think Tribes had online connectivity when it came out. I want to say that was a thing.
Oh,
I know this is back in the olden days.
Oh, yeah. That was kind of starting to become a thing with like Quake 3 Arena. It's from that era, right? Unreal Tournament.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, this is probably like 99, 2000 that I was trying to get that to work.
Yeah,
so.
that's the time when you're using your 56K.
I might have been out for a couple years by that point. I don't know, but
it's definitely from that era, though, for sure.
Fine time.
All right, ladies and gentlemen and NBs, if you were with us last summer, you might remember me and Steve playing a little thing called Shadow Labyrinth, which was that dark and twisted search action game. Steve, I think I'm saying search action now, you know?
It's a good word.
Yeah, I think I kind of rebuffed you when you first started saying it, but I think I was wrong. Fuck, I was wrong. I think we should say search action.
Oh, no.
It says what it is.
Yeah, I'm with you. Okay, I apologize for all the nasty things I said in the past, or at least those.
I disagree, just for the record, but go ahead.
Okay. Shadow Labyrinth, yeah, the search action game based off of Pac-Man and other Namco deep lore embedded in this thing. If you're a sicko, and me and Steve are sickos, so we understood the words that they were saying. I don't know if I fully got what they were trying to do with that plot, Steve, but there was a lot of Xevious and Bosconian and Galaga.
It was a B at the end for me, but you liked it considerably less.
I liked it considerably less. I think during that episode, I gave it a C-. I think I would lower that to a D+. I really did not like that game. And anyway, so around Thanksgiving last year, they dropped a gigantic patch for Shadow Labyrinth, bringing it up to version 1.1 and adding tons and tons of game-changing additions, so much to the point where I was just reading the patch notes and being like, holy shit, they are directly addressing all my problems with the game. It's almost like they were literally writing the patch notes for me, specifically. So I was like, you know what? I never do this, but I think I'm going to start a brand new game and play this game again, which is not something I usually do because, like, if something pisses me off, that's it. I'm not playing it again. I don't care if they fixed it. I don't care if they patched it. I don't care. You had your chance and that's it. That's typically how I feel. But I'm making an exception for Shadow Labyrinth just because, like I said, it really did feel like they were writing those notes specifically for me, and that was just kind of creepy, honestly. So I started it from the beginning. I started a new file, and what happens now when you start a brand new game is that you can pick between veteran mode or explorer mode. And the file select screen provides the following information. I'm just going to read it directly. In Explorer mode, the following effects will apply. No contact damage from enemies, with some exceptions. Warp past certain difficult terrain after several failed attempts. Reduced ESP and other resource costs. ESP is stamina. Increased Gaia energy recovery. Increased attack power. Some maze content will be altered, and unlock the use of tenacity boost to get stronger with each death, which is exactly what it sounds like. The more you die, the easier it'll be when you come back to try it again. And to be honest, that did not really sound like the vibe. I didn't really want to play Explorer mode. I didn't want to make the game super baby shit easy. I just wanted it to be less of a slog. And since almost all the stuff in this patch applies to both veteran mode and explorer mode, I played the original mode. I played veteran mode and because I wanted to see how they changed the original experience that I had. So I did not try explorer mode. That was not really, I'm not out here to just beat the game in a flash. I want to see what they did to my original experience. So that's how I played it. So again, all the fixes I'm going to mention from here on out apply to all modes of the game, not just easy mode. So here was one thing in the patch notes, which was, I don't know if my biggest problem with the game, but definitely top 3. And I'll just read it. Significantly increase the number of save points and warp points. Additionally, some save points have been replaced with warp points that also save, greatly improving player convenience. Thank you fucking God. This was the big one for me. Steve, I hated how cavernous those stages were. I hated it. They were so big and so long and so tunnel, like go forward for forever. And then you die, and then you have to go all the fucking way back to God knows where and traverse it again. And it's so boring. It's not the fact that you die and you have to do something again. It's the fact that it's just dull as hell. So don't make me do it, please. Now they hardly make you do that. There are so many. If you went, Steve, I almost like. I mean, you probably don't want to play the whole game again. You should probably poke around just a little bit because I feel like it's been a while since you played. Even you will notice, like, holy shit, I can save everywhere.
It's a tempting prospect. I mean, they said they were going to go like long before. This wasn't a surprise patch. Like I think in August or even later that July, they're like, "Hey, we got plans to." I think they have another patch coming, maybe that. For some other things, so I don't know. Maybe I'll check for that one, but we'll see.
Yeah, it is you just to see it. Well, you know what they do. The very before you go anywhere in the game, they give you an HP up boost. You get one more take. They don't add it to the game. Like they don't start you out with more. They let you pick up one right away, which is like, oh, they're not fucking around here. And also that one, that one perk you can take that gives you temporarily 2 more HP stocks. That's not temporary anymore. It's permanent. So you can just have that. So I think they realize like you just have 2 little health and people don't want to fucking do this, including me. Again, it's not even the fact that it was like, it's challenging. Oh, I got to start over. I have such little health. It's the fact that the game just didn't warrant it. I think that was like my main problem. I'm like, you can make a game like this, but you have to earn it. And Shadow Labyrinth did not earn it whatsoever. It still really doesn't, though. But at least now it's not a slog, which is, again, incredible. Also, what makes it not a slog? Your HP tank, your reserve that you use, I still don't know why that's a system. It's still a stupid system, but whatever. Your HP tank, your reserve to fill up your HP again, that restores at all save points, not just the warp points. Thank you, God.
I like that system, but it definitely needed to restore at all the save points, so that is very good.
Yeah, it's still stupid, but at least they're mitigating it. And yeah, like I get what they were trying to do, and we kind of surmised this last summer, is that they were trying to do the Dark Souls thing, right? Oh, you need to start from here, and you need to have these reserve tanks and pop them at the right time, or you'll die or whatnot. I don't know of a single Souls game that doesn't replenish your potions when you sit down at the fire. They all do that. Okay, so if that's the thing they were trying to do. They didn't, even a Souls game doesn't do that to you. I don't know why Shadow Labyrinth is doing that to you or was doing that to you because they don't do it anymore. So thank you, God.
Well, they were looking at a little game called Hollow Knight, and they figured, well, that game gets to be a pain in the ass, so we get to be a pain in the ass too.
I was half hoping Kevin would break in here to Anthem and just start talking about Silk Song like for the 5th time or whatever, because now it's become a thing. Steve, something else they did, which I personally didn't really think they needed to do, but they did. They adjusted the maze stuff a lot. They let you continue with the boss if you die now. You don't have to do the whole thing again. And they let you skip the maze outright if you try and fail. Like I said, in veteran mode as well. That's not an explorer mode thing. I never had a problem with the mazes though, Steve. In fact, that was like, I felt like they should have came into play much earlier in the game. That should have been something you were doing constantly.
Yeah, I feel like that too, but my problem was I was never able to fill that maze gauge all the way. Like I was only able to fill the bare minimum. I was never filling it all the way. So I never wanted to skip them, but I don't know. I feel like something needed to give, or I needed a tutorial of some kind to figure out how to get good.
Oh, they added that too. They added 2 different maze tutorials that you don't have to do, but they're definitely there. And they're in the so like when you go to the warp point menu, it's like transport, perks, whatever, etc. At the bottom are like maze tutorial 1 and 2 now. So you can just peruse those at your pleasure, at your leisure too.
Because I feel like I was always cutting it close and like barely making it.
Yeah. I never had a problem with the maze stuff. I thought that was like fine, except for the fact that they just like completely bogard like Pac-Man Championship Edition assets and stuff. I thought that was like really lazy and weird. I get that this game had no budget, but still, that was kind of weird. But anyway, Shadow Labyrinth also made use of my least favorite thing in video games, the stamina bar. And if you're sitting there thinking that a stamina bar in a search action game sounds like the dumbest decision of all time, I'm here to tell you that it is. Steve, even you have to agree with me. That was so oppressive. I know you like the game, but that was just not necessary. You have to at least give me that.
I said when we aired that the only Punisher for the move should have been the animations. There should have been no need for that stupid bar.
Yeah, okay, thank you. But yeah, they largely alleviated it, though, in this patch by pretty much reducing stamina usage across the board, including using Gaia to devour your fallen enemies doesn't use stamina anymore. Thank you, fucking Christ. That's something you do all the time in this game. So for those who don't know, you kill the enemies, they flop on the ground, then you use a power of yours to like devour them, so you get parts to like make other stuff. That's basically how the crafting system works. It took stamina to devour them. It was asinine. Now it doesn't take that anymore. Thank you.
Well, broken clock.
Yeah, I know. What can you say at this point? It's just like, it was just insane. You know what's funny though? When you first get Gaia, Puck still says like, you need your ESP power to devour your enemies, which is not true anymore. They just forgot to change that part. but he still says that for some reason. Yes, the Pac-Man robot that follows you around is called Puck. Everybody, that's who it is. Puck-Man. Haha.
It stood for it was an acronym, but I don't remember what it was for.
I don't remember at this point. But yeah, dude, there's still a lot of stuff in this game that still sucks. You know, the music is mad boring. Holy shit. Steve, it's the same thing. Occasionally you get that Xevious riff spooky in the background, and that's it. It's so boring.
Yeah, I wouldn't have minded if they leaned into that a bit more.
Lent into it. Yeah, it still sucks in that regard. Search action games need good music. They have to have it, you know, and this game does not have it. This is definitely a podcast game or a YouTube game. Listen to something else while you play this game, because you're going to need it. Like I said, it takes too long to get to the maze stuff. In fact, I think there's not enough Pac-Manning in general. You do the wall stuff like early on in the game, like on the walls Pac-Man and chomping on the bits, but I think there just could have been more of that stuff in general. The enemy types, mad samey, dude. There's just like, here are these three different, here's the brain guys, here's the jungle people, here's the robots, and it's just like rinse repeat. It gets really boring really fast. The pickups still really suck. It is so unsatisfying to like find your way to this thing with your newfound powers. And here is a journal. Here is some more map markers. No. Every single thing, you need to give me more ESP, more HP, more another health tank. You need to give me shit if I'm going to be out here exploring. Not here are more map markers half the time. Here's another journal. Fuck off. Like, that's not exciting. Steve's looking at me like I know we talked about this months ago. I'm sorry. Okay. Jesus Christ. Let me vent again.
Okay. I mean, you're not wrong, but they did make themselves a big maze, which was a problem in itself, but
yeah. And that's the last bullet point I have here. Still extremely cavernous, still extremely large. I was going to beat the game actually until I got to like those sections where I gave up the first time. And I'm like, you know what? I played enough of this. I can recommend this. I think that's what I'll leave off on. I will actually recommend Shadow Labyrinth now to people for cheap. If you see it for $10-15, get it. Absolutely. Don't expect anything great. This ain't going to be your new favorite Metroid or Castlevania game or even Prince of Persia. I haven't played Prince of Persia, but I'm just assuming, right? I would imagine that Prince of Persia game is better, but, you know, for cheap, I can now at least recommend Shadow Labyrinth because it's silly Namco shit and it's funny. I just wish I had a bigger budget. this is such a shoestring budget game, Steve. It deserved better than this.
We went over that too, but I think that's just what Namco's doing right now. They're hedging their bets on. They got some big budget things, but it's a lot of smaller budget things for them too. There's Tawa and the Guardians. There's the Pac-Man World remasters, rather. Like
right.
They're trying to recession-proof themselves.
They blew all their money in Tekken 8, and now they gotta piecemeal it out.
I guess that's what happened.
Anyway, yeah, okay, that's about it. I have closed the book on Shadow Labyrinth. Thank you, Shadow Labyrinth. All right, guys, it's been months. Kevin, I know you only shower with us, as you mentioned several times on this show. Has your family had enough of you? Do you need to shower now?
Oh yeah, man, I smell like shit.
All right, Steve?
I think Kevin just needs to shower on his own first because...
Let me tighten your nuts.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you very much.
Let me tighten your nuts.
Let's get in the shower.
It's time to hit the showers. We'll be right back on Fine Time.
Oh, baby. That was a shower. Let me tell you what. Shower be showering. When the shower hits, just right, Steve, I tell you.
I mean, it was fine until that brown water started coming out.
Where did that come from, anyway?
Just don't touch the washcloth that I left on the bathroom floor.
Okay. I ain't gonna... I'm just grip it and rip it, bar of soap, scrubbing up everything, man. So I'm a caveman like that.
Usually I am too, but today called for a washcloth.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, it's been damn near 2 months. I mean, Jesus Christ. You can go upstairs and have...
Now I have to buy a new washcloth.
Gross. I thought you were a loofah. I thought you had the loofah in here. We've moved on?
That's a decorative loofah.
Okay. Sorry.
Well, sorry I used the monogram Steve washcloth, but I needed something.
He didn't know it belonged to. It could have been any Steve.
Yeah. Those ornate Steve. Gold letters inlaid in it didn't tell me anything.
I would, like people do have that type of shit. I would use the shit out of those. I don't care. I don't care if it's monogrammed. You put my name on it, I'm hella using it.
Wash it directly on the butthole with the monogram towel.
Anyway, we have a couple big questions, and a couple I feel like are kind of juicy. We'll see. Okay, so here's the first one. Legitimately, like one of the bigger surprise stories to me, anyway, of like the last couple months while we were out was that Call of Duty simply is not selling this year. Finally, right? Now, here's the thing. We don't know the actual numbers. So Call of Duty is probably selling 10 million instead of 30 million. Who knows, right? But as much as they spend on those games, they need to sell that much, right? So it's kind of catastrophic if they don't. And so the Call of Duty team actually released a statement about this. So, I mean, I don't know how much of it I want to read. I'll probably read most of it, but I think it's really interesting. So I'm just going to read, and if some parts are boring, I'll skip over. Okay. So the entity known as Call of Duty says the following. A message from the Call of Duty team. First off, thank you for all the feedback we have received over the last few months. Call of Duty has enjoyed long-standing success because of all of you, a passionate community that demands excellence and deserves nothing less. We also know that for some of you, the franchise has not met your expectations fully. Franchise is capitalized F. That's weird. To be very clear, we know what you expect, and rest assured we will deliver and over-deliver on those expectations as we move forward. With respect to Black Ops 7, we set our sights to deliver a spiritual successor to Black Ops 2, and the studios have poured their passion into making a great game that all of us are very proud of. But it's one thing for us to say it. More importantly, it's up to you to try it and judge for yourselves. So as it relates to Black Ops 7 and the future of Call of Duty, here are a few important notes. 1, you'll have the opportunity to play Black Ops 7 for free. Next week, blah, blah, blah. They're playing it for free. Number 2, we are committed to unprecedented seasonal support. Your continuing feedback, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter. Here's the third. Our strategy going forward is changing. We will no longer do back-to-back releases of Modern Warfare or Black Ops games. The reasons are many, but the main one is to ensure we provide an absolutely unique experience each and every year. We will drive innovation that is meaningful, not incremental. While we aren't sharing those plans today, we are looking forward to doing so when the time is right. Blah, blah, blah. Future of Call of Duty is very strong. That is very... I mean, can we just like look at that on its face? That is crazy. I don't think I've ever seen any annual franchise. Like EA isn't out here apologizing for Madden when it sucks, right? Like this is kind of wild, guys.
I think it had to happen at some time. Well, not the apology, just the crash.
I guess so, Kevin. It's just to have a whole press statement about it is very telling. I think they've never felt the need to respond to any of this stuff before, even when people criticize Call of Duty.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird to me, just given that like this has to obviously be more about fatigue than like this most recent entry being poorer, right?
I think so. It has to be. But yeah, so this letter coincided with a 50% price drop after 2 weeks on sale. So like that's unheard of for fucking any AAA game, let alone Call of Duty. They don't do that. So it was like half off. It was like $35 or whatever it is, 30. Like, wow. And like,
no, I was just saying, even Ubisoft gives it a month.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. I don't know all the numbers, because like Circana or what used to be EPD doesn't really NPD. I said EPD like it's fucking Nintendo. Doesn't give the hard numbers like that, but it seems like Battlefield outsold it last year, which has just never happened. Battlefield never outsells Call of Duty. So that's nuts. So what do you think, guys? Straight up, do you think this is the end of Call of Duty, Steve? Being a commercial force, or is this just a blip? Next year it'll go right, or rather this year, now that we're in it, we'll go right back to normal.
I think it needs some time. I think we're in a bit of not a bit, we're definitely in a world where everything feels a little too real right now. I think fewer people want to play the Shooty McBang Bang, where things are loosely based on real world events right now. Maybe they don't want Call of Duty where this looks an awful lot like the news.
I mean, you might be right. However, Kevin, I mean, look, and I'm generalizing the hell out of this here. I don't think people who play Call of Duty care about that.
No, I think you're right.
Those people are buying the game, though.
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I think if you're a Call of Duty truther, you buy this every year. I don't think that's on your mind. Maybe I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm like overall just confused about this because we've talked about this like since the start of Fine Time occasionally. I think, I definitely don't hear people talking about Call of Duty near as much as I did in like the early to mid 2010s. I don't think it captures the public consciousness near as much as it used to. I remember going to like Christmas and hearing my jock ass cousins talk about Call of Duty in like the early 2010s. That stuff like that never happens anymore. I would have always expected this to be, a somewhat steady decline. So I don't understand where all of a sudden this just like one entry shitting the bed comes from. But as far as if we talk about if this is a blip on the radar, I think it might be just because I think like a reality check is long overdue for them anyways. I think that, I think there are probably a lot of people that would be excited if Call of Duty was made an event again, right? Those people that were really into it in the 2010s that just like, got sick of playing it like year after year after year. If all of a sudden there hasn't been a Call of Duty for 3 years and they come out and they're doing, make a big deal and say, we're going to do this like really cool, interesting thing with it, I think that recaptures a lot of that audience.
I think that's what EA just did with Battlefield. That's why it was so successful last year. And now, because I think after, what was it, Battlefield 1 or something like that, didn't do that well. And then like they took like 4 or 5 years off from it. And then everyone seems to like this new Battlefield. So I think maybe that's part of it. But obviously I don't see Call of Duty doing that. I feel like most of the reason why they were bought by Microsoft is for Call of Duty. And Kevin, I think that's why like we have been talking about this, because that was our second episode ever of Fine Time. We talked about Microsoft. That's when the buyout happened of Activision. So that's kind of, and then I remember during that episode, we probably talked about, is Call of Duty that big a deal anymore? And I said, yeah, it kind of is. But you know what it is, though? And now what I realized looking back on that conversation, it's not a big deal with like the kid, like your son doesn't care about Call of Duty, right? Or like, I mean, does he? I mean,
you know what? He has mentioned it in passing. So, and I think that there's kind of like, there's almost like a camp of kids. Most of the kids are playing Fortnite. Fortnite is still fucking huge.
Okay.
But like he's been like, oh, some of these kids are playing Call of Duty.
Okay.
So it's still a thing with young kids, but I don't think it's, I mean, he doesn't bring it up where he's like, oh, I want to move into playing. He doesn't really give a shit about Fortnite that much either, given, but I don't think it's this, like, desirable thing that kids are like waiting for their parents to say, yeah, you're old enough to play Call of Duty. Like it probably once was.
Yeah, I would imagine so as well. And I think that we just I think our generation is the Call of Duty generation, basically. Like, think about it. When we were in our early 20s, and I know we're like different ages, but it still spans, right? Like that, like half the dudes I knew were into Call of Duty, like way into it. I don't know anyone who gives a shit about Call of Duty anymore. And again, that's anecdotal evidence, Steve, but I'm sure you felt the same. I mean, you were in college in the mid to late 2000s, right? Like that was Call of Duty time. Surely.
It was Call of Duty time. I even played a Call of Duty, World at War. But
on Wii, right?
On Wii.
Yeah.
But, it was good. I had the pointer. But
people played those up until the end, by the way. You could still find matches for those on Wii.
Yeah.
Up until the end.
But see, that's the thing. Kevin just kind of grazed it with his kid there. There's a lot more options now, I think, is the other thing.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I did my very dumb impromptu Steve shoots stuff in the face segment last year when Kevin wasn't here. And I talked about a bunch of things I was playing where I'm shooting things that was not Call of Duty or Battlefield. We got RoboCop getting a first-person shooter sequel and Mullet Magic. The boomer shooters are now back, you guys. This is a world after Overwatch, even. I mean, I could see why Call of Duty's having a problem.
Yeah, I never thought about the free-to-play. Well, I mean, Call of Duty has their own free-to-play product, right? And that hasn't even cannibalized their sales. Like, I mean,
I'm sure to some degree it has, though.
Maybe, but like, obviously they make probably so much from Warzone, or, I mean, I just don't see it slowing down. Well, okay, maybe this is where we should go from here. Do you think that price drop, the 50% price drop after 2 weeks, do you think that's going to permanently damage goodwill? Because I think it will. I don't think people are going to forget that readily.
I think just based on what we were just talking about with those free-to-play entries, right? There's a free-to-play Call of Duty on consoles. There's free-to-play Call of Duty on your fucking phone. I just don't think that the franchise overall is looked at as this like untouchable premium thing. And I'm not saying I'm not saying it's not going to damage goodwill to some degree, but I think it's different than if this was always like, a heavy hitter that you got to go out and pay full price to like get that name on a game. I think that differentiates it a bit.
Okay.
It would be a problem if they're coming right back next year with more Call of Duty, but they said it, Call of Duty, the guy, the person, the entity said in their press release said they're not going to do these back-to-back releases anymore. And if that's true, that's not as damaging to that as I would think it would be.
But think about what they're saying. Like, they're not going to do back-to-back Modern Warfare or Black Ops series. That means they're just going to keep pumping them out. We're going to eventually be on Modern Warfare 17, and they're just going to keep doing these. But, like, because I think they're stuck in this, and they know it. As soon as they try anything else, Call of Duty Ghosts, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, Infinite Warfare, Call of Duty, what was that one from the Rona? Vanguard? I feel like whenever they try something that's not Modern Warfare or Black Ops, people hate it.
I feel like that's more damaging long-term than a sudden price drop is.
I think it might be different though with that space in between. If they're saying, hey, we're stopping this being an annual franchise for a few years, we're going to come out, we're going to have this new thing. People might look at that differently as just like, oh, this year the like annual entry isn't like the thing we like the most. I think there's a difference.
It's just the tacit like admission that like they're just not going to stop making those. They're not going to do anything different. They know they can't do anything different because everyone screams when they do. And I bet though that those entries, like the ones I just mentioned that were kind of off for them, like Ghost or even maybe World at War, I bet those sold probably better than Black Ops 7 did last year. So, I mean, look, I don't know that for sure, but they didn't come out with a statement after Vanguard or Infinite Warfare and be like, hey guys, here's the game half off after 2 weeks. Like that didn't happen. So
what do they do then after they take a break? Do they come out and do like Call of Duty Black Ops Reloaded? You can't come out and do Call of Duty Black Ops 8, right?
I think this year they're going to have to, I mean, probably this year is going to be Modern Warfare, I would imagine. And then, see, I don't know. Well, here's the thing. Well, maybe this can be the question. Ascreed used to be annual, and then Ubisoft stopped. And it's like, we can't do this anymore. We're going to give you an Ascreed every 2 or 3 years. And since they have done that, people have started to care about Ascreed again. I've heard more about Shadows and like the ones since they started doing that, much more than the ones from like the 2010s. I feel like, So I think there is a world where Call of Duty can come out every couple years. I don't think they will do that, but that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for them, I think. They won't do it, though.
I mean, there's clearly some pressure on top to do something because have you seen all those other Microsoft headlines we did over the course of last year?
Yeah.
Where all the games are gone?
They probably can't afford to not do that. Yeah, so I guess that'll just have to remain a thought experiment.
All right, let's talk about something not Call of Duty. Yeah, but we're going to talk about another entity speaking. Recently, the Nintendo entity did an interview with Famitsu and commented on the decision process relating to the open world hub in Metroid Prime 4. And so they were talking about, stating they were seeing input online of people saying they wanted to see an open world Metroid game. And they were, generally aware that open world design would clash with kind of the core design principles of Metroid. So they landed on that hub area concept. And then they go on to talk about how by the time development was nearing completion, they felt that attitudes towards open world games had shifted, but they couldn't backtrack on the design due to the already long development period. And so the Nintendo rep said, in the end, the game took much longer than expected to finish, and we realized that players' impressions toward open world games had changed. That being said, development had already been reset once before, So backtracking development again was out of the question, and we resolved to move forward with our original vision.
Okay.
What really stuck out to me, like, so I guess they're talking about like these changing opinions on open world games, and I'm not sure that those opinions on open world games with the general public are really changing. I think it's just more related to some of the cliche design choices associated with them.
Steve, go ahead.
Okay. We had an episode about this game, but Metroid Prime 4 is an open world.
Nope.
It's got a big open space to explore in the middle of the map. Oh boy. But that said, I get that there's some fatigue in what they're actually talking about, but if you made a good thing, people are going to flock to it. People are sick of copycats and pieces of crap that you churn out year after year. One segment ago, Andre was talking about, well, once they started spacing out the Assassin's Creeds, people like them again. What if you have a good game, it's going to be fine. People are sick of, oh, look, it's another big open space with a boring as shit checklist. It's another one of those. People are sick of that. People aren't sick of open world. I don't think.
Yeah, I think I mostly agree. Like, there have been people who obviously have had open world fatigue for years. We've been hearing it pretty much through the middle of the PS4 era. Man, this is stuff like when something like Just Cause 3 comes out or whatever, it's just like, I don't want to fucking do this anymore. This isn't novel. But I think what people don't actually want is what Nintendo was proposing, making stuff that is not historically open world to be open world. I don't know why. Who are these people saying they wanted an open world Metroid game? Have they ever played Metroid in their life?
You see, I was using my survey time to say, man, it would be nice if you brought over some games you'd never seen before on Nintendo Switch Online. Thanks for that, by the way, you guys. But in other situations, you guys were apparently using it to say, open world Metroid?
And they said they landed on the hub concept as a compromise. That is not that's Ocarina of Time too. That's not that's not an open world. Did you guys ever drive around that desert being like, oh yeah, what a cool open world Metroid game? I mean, I sure didn't. I mean,
how fucking dumb. Let's go back to playing Animal World, the Metroidvania.
In general, this whole like statement from Nintendo seemed very out of left field.
It is, but also I think the reception to Metroid Prime 4 has also, for them, been out of left field. I mentioned if you haven't heard our post-game show, and no blame if you haven't, because it's a full spoiler podcast, and we won't do any spoilers here. But I did say at the front of that episode, guys, I mentioned how Prime 4 is sitting at a 79 on Metacritic. And I legitimately think Nintendo is taking that to heart big time. That is not supposed to happen to Nintendo games. Certainly not Metroid games. They don't have the most mainstream appeal, but people who show up for Metroid love that shit. And critics love Metroid. It has never scored like that before, unless you're fucking Federation Force or something. So, like, for Metroid Prime 4 to come out after all this time and like land in the high 70s, I think Nintendo's looking, not just literally Metacritic, but I think they're just looking at the reception of this and being like, what could we have done to like get to the, heights of the other ones critically? Who knows how it's going to sell? We have no idea. But like, I think they feel that. But obviously, what they should be looking at is not the attitudes towards open worlds have changed. They should be looking at the fucking NPC shit that people are complaining about. I think that is much more of a factor. And it was a factor for us. So I think that was much more annoying than like, ho hum, I'm driving around the PS3 desert and a fucking cool ass motorcycle. That was great. So I don't know. I think they're definitely spooked by the reception.
Yeah, I think they took that to heart too. I thought it was just weird in general to see them, speaking in official capacity about like, and not just like looking at the game in retrospect, but originally trying to tailor gameplay design based just on like public input with that level of like, we were reading online comments. And especially talking about it with where it like seems like they are speaking with the tone of regret.
Yeah, well, don't do that shit anymore. Again, guys, I've literally never seen anybody say, I want an open world Metroid game. I've never seen that. Mm-hmm. And if I did, I'd block them, maybe. So
I brought this up in our episode too. I think a chunk of that has to do with how long it took. I think if it had a more reasonable time, it would have been closer to the 90s. But yeah, the NPCs didn't help. Maybe next time we just have Alan. The computer Alan, not Alan.
I'll take anything over what we again. It makes it sound like the game's a piece of shit, or I think it's a piece of shit, which I don't. It's just that that stuff was really obnoxious, and they could stand to not have that next time. I also just want to say that like we know, like as far as like open world fatigue goes, I'm not sure that actually exists. I just really I think people just don't want their favorite thing to become that. Because let's be real, when Horizon 3 comes out or Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, those are going to be fucking huge. Mm-hmm. GTA 6, the most anticipated game right now in the world is GTA 6. Like these games are going to be massive. So I don't think people hate open world games. I just think they want them to be done right. I think what we're done with is like Far Cry.
Yeah, open world games for the sake of like, the game is that it's an open world game, not a game where you have an open world to play the game in.
Right, exactly. I think we're done with like Just Cause or Infamous or you know what I mean? Shit like that. Mm-hmm. I think that's the stuff we are done with. All right, guys, we're going to do something trite. All the shows are doing it, so why can't we? I feel like that's the name of a famous record or two. We are going to talk about our Games of the Year 2025. I believe we did this last year, and we did it like a round robin style, like a top three, say our three, say our number two, say our number ones. I think what we're going to do this year is we're just going to talk in a big old glut. We're just going to have the floor, and we're going to say our top three and why, okay? I think that's a lot more, I don't know if it'll be more fun, but it'll definitely be different, okay? We're different from those other shows doing a goatee, okay? We're different. Because I said so.
You tell them.
Steve, we're different.
I think everyone knew that, though, already.
Oh.
That's why they're here.
Who wants to go first? Should my yapping ass go first, or does anyone have a burning desire to say their top three?
I think you did because of how different we are.
Oh, okay, fine. I'll go first. Fine. I just feel like I feel like I've been yapping a lot, but that's fine time. Okay, I'll go first. Should we have a sound effect for this? I don't know why I want to play sound effects on the show today. I don't really have one.
I think we got to get to the CD Tommy Tallarico was borrowing all his shit from for your birthday.
I think we should just use Steve, let me tighten your nuts for everything. Wins, losses.
Let me tighten your nuts.
Okay, I'm going to go first. Thank you.
Let me tighten your nuts.
All right. my top three of the year. I'll rank them. Why not? Usually I like to do these things in no particular order, but I think there is an order this year. So number 3 is indeed the thing we just talked about, Metroid Prime 4. That's definitely my third favorite of the year. And again, for those who didn't hear our post-game show, I'll recap how I feel about it in a non-spoiler fashion, of course. The first 70% of Metroid Prime 4, some of the best shit I've ever played. Some of the best shit in video gaming. It was incredible. The last 30%, not so much. It's not that it was bad or that it sucked or anything. It just wasn't nearly as good as that first 70%. So overall, I would give it like an A-, because obviously that last 30% didn't ruin the game for me by any means. But that also means it can't be my game of the year. I really, really liked it, though. It was great. It was worth waiting for. And it's just that I have to pick, for the things above this, I have to pick something that is more consistent all the way through, But yeah, Metroid Prime 4, great game. not something I'm going to forget anytime soon. It was a great experience, of course. Number 2 on my list for the GOTY 2025 is Dynasty Warriors Origins. I love this game to death. After Dynasty Warriors 9 being such a complete travesty, a disaster so big that they stopped making Dynasty Warriors games, not Warriors games in general, but the Dynasty Warriors games for years because that game was so bad. They tried to save it years later with Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires, and that was bad too. You're just building bad on top of bad. Just start with something else. And they certainly did. They went back to the source with Dynasty Warriors Origins. And I think you guys know when that first showed up and what was it, a state of play? I just about lost my mind. Holy shit.
Rock hard.
Oh my God. And when I first saw gameplay at whatever, I don't know if it was TGS or some other show, I was like, that has to be one of the biggest, like, oh shit moments I've ever had, like looking at footage of a game in years, because it's one of those things you look at and you just know it's going to be fucking good. And Dynasty Warriors Origins delivered. Because, with graphics on PlayStation 5, we can really deliver these large-scale battles in a way that we just have never depicted them before. And it looks incredible. It feels incredible. It sounds incredible, too. When you're in the thick of it, and you're trying to storm a castle, and there's just literally thousands. I mean, it is incredible, man. And it's one of the rare sort of, I guess you could call Dynasty Warriors Origins a reboot, but it's one of the rare reboots where it satisfies everyone. Resident Evil 4 didn't satisfy everyone. I mean, I'm not just speaking for myself here. I know I'm a hater, but like, I'm not the only one who feels that way, believe it or not. Like, God of War 2018 doesn't satisfy everybody. Those aren't like the old ones, If someone's looking for God of War like they knew it, they aren't going to get that there. Dynasty Warriors Origins manages to bring in new people and being something new while completely satisfying people like me. And that is so fucking hard to do. So it has to be commended for that. Yeah. So Dynasty Warriors Origins is as perfect as that game could have possibly turned out for me. I loved every second of it. But my game of the year is not Metroid Prime 4, and it's not Dynasty Warriors Origins. Believe it or not, the answer for me last year was absolutely Split Fiction. That's my game of the year for 2025. It has to be. Like, I meant what I said on that Split Fiction post-game show. It's one of the best games I have ever played. It's one of the best games I played in several years, and maybe the best 3D action platformer ever. Like, it is absolutely fucking incredible. The puzzles, the challenges, it's so relentlessly clever. I know we compare like every top game to Nintendo, but it's the thing we love about Mario nowadays, like especially something like Mario Odyssey, or even something like Donkey Kong Bonanza to a lesser degree, where it's all the stuff, all the ideas, every idea you have, put it in there. You want to have a stage where Mario just jumps on a bunch of puffy pink clouds? Sure. You want to have a T-Rex chase him? Sure. Like, just everything. And we're going to make it work, and it's going to be cohesive. Split Fiction does that. And the concept of it, I don't want to get into the whole, explain the story, but just like conceptually incredible. And you get to do everything, man. The spectacle. You guys know I love spectacle. You're jumping from Jetsons flying car to flying car. You're zip lining and sliding through laser traps. You're sliding down like desert. What is it in the desert? It's not a mud slide. It's a sand slide. But it's not quicksand.
I was going to say quicksand.
Yeah, it's not exactly quicksand. You know what the fuck I'm talking about. You're skydiving. You're floating through the air like you're playing Pilot Wings. You're doing everything in this game. All the ideas came together to make this cohesive, incredible, and yes, co-op experience. And I know that's not something everyone is going to want to do, but it's just incredible. And there's a tendency nowadays to make like those kinds of games have zero challenge because they don't want you to get too stuck. Oh, it's a nice game to play with couples and you just get to hang out. Split Fiction is not like that. Split Fiction is testing your ass. Like, they're really putting in the challenge. They're making you work together. Okay, turn on the switch now. Okay, oh wait, because if you fuck up, you both die. You got to do it over. They make you do that shit, and I think that is so much fun. Me and Vin played through this game 1.5 times, once through as a regular playthrough, a half time to get prepared for the post game show. I want to just talking about it. I want to go back and play it again right now. Like, by the way, if either of you guys, I know we have like weird work schedules and everything that don't always line up. I have the game. You can download the guest version on PS5 and play it with me for $0.00. If you ever want to play Split Fiction with me, I am 100% down. It will cost you nothing. So just let me know. LMK, as the kids say. But yeah, Split Fiction for me, best game of the year, 2025 for sure.
Damn.
All right, good night, everybody.
Who's next, Steve?
Sounds like I'm going next. All right. Quick bit of housekeeping. Metroid Prime 4's Game of the Year. I'm not talking about that. I talked about it extensively on the other show. You can listen to all that there. Runner-up is Pokemon Legends ZA. We did a show about that. There's going to be another show about that. Sit tight. So these are 3 other games. And I guess we'll rank them up in that order. And the first one is not a Switch 2 game. I know everyone's sitting there like, oh, Steve's in love with his Switch 2. He would marry it if he could. Like, well, no, that's gross. But yeah, Steve was in love with his Switch 2 last year.
Yes, you would marry it. Don't act like you wouldn't.
Where would I even fuck it, Andre? But
what do you mean where? Don't ask me such questions on the air. Holy shit. This is a family show.
Only if everyone's over 21. But but the first game is, well, not much of a surprise if everyone's looked at my Discord. What I'm doing is Cast and Chill, a game that just magically appeared. Well, not magically. Was recommended by a friend of the show, Sumo Kirby, as I've been over. He's like, hey, it's the Steam Summer Sale. Maybe you want to go fishing forever on your computer. And I'm sitting here going, well, I don't usually like my computer, but this does look very pretty. And it was very pretty. And I've been over on here already about how, yeah, it's great. It's a great flow where you just go out on your boat and you go fishing and you pay the old man. Well, the old man pays you for fish and you pay him back for better shit. And you just keep going. And now there's been 2 free expansions so far, including one right now where you go ice fishing. And that's just great, where you just hop out and your little dog companions are like, oh, we're going ice fishing? That's cool, in the middle of the lake. It's just a great time, and I'm going to bring it up again now because you can play it on consoles now. Well, I think you could just play it on Switch and Switch 2 now. I don't know about other places, but I don't know if I'd recommend it on there.
Oh my God.
Because I feel like the whole leaving it idle is such an important part of the game, where having it as a bit of a screensaver is just so neat and semi-important, where you could have it and you could set the parameters to not have it search for things if you don't want certain things, if you don't want it to anyway. That it's just a important part of the experience. It's not for everyone, but everyone knows I'm a fishing freak. So this isn't the first time I've talked about a fishing game on here. Everyone needs to play Fishing Vacation, but I'm sure they have by now, right? Right?
I will play Super Black Bass by Hot B when it comes to when it comes to Nintendo Classics.
Oh, from your lips. But okay.
You know we're playing that shit on one of our fucking shows.
It'll come on someday, I'm sure.
Yep.
But
it
okay,
warms my heart hearing you talk about the fishing game like that.
I like when he talks about fishing as well.
Yeah, me too.
I'm out of fishing games, though, because number 2 is another game that I love to death on here. Guys, it's Donkey Kong Bonanza. I know we forgot about it after the summer, but it really was the feel-good game of the summer for me, and I never quite forgot about it after we let it pass. I mean, it really was Donkey Kong being the Donkey Kong and bringing little girly Pauline down to the center of the earth. And I made all my comparisons to Don Bluth already, and I know there was a lot of complaints. Oh, it's too easy. Oh, like, yeah, it's kind of supposed to be a breezy experience. Just go with it. Donkey Kong punches shit to the earth, punches his way down and to the center of the earth, and everybody's standing in the way. Just fucking go with it, and then the game ends.
It's too easy until it's not.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you're playing with a little friend person, I've learned that there is a co-op mode where the second person plays as Pauline, and you can weaponize the voice at the enemy. I've discovered she just shouts at things to death.
Okay.
So
I didn't know that was a thing.
So if you are playing with small children, that is an option for you. I'm just saying that's very possible for you.
Nintendo does love to do that.
So yeah, Donkey Kong Bananas. It's a game that's been fun for the sake of being fun. I feel like we're losing track of that in these games where, okay, not just Andre's complaining like, frames per second is the entire name of the game and blah, blah, blah. And I don't know. Donkey Kong Bonanza was just fun the whole way through. Except, when everyone decided it wasn't. Which brings me to number 1. Guys, it's fucking Kirby Air Riders.
Oh,
of course. Duh.
And it's the game that surprised everyone when we saw it. And even I'm sitting there like, it's going to have a long way up, long crawl out of the pit since Mario Kart World's coming in the fucking box for most of us. And Sakurai did sit there for 2 hours on 2 different presentations to sell us this fucking thing. And boy, howdy, was it ever... If you can go back in time to correct a mistake from 20 years ago, how you would do that, because this is not only the Kirby Air Ride game we deserved from 20 years ago, it is way more than that. You all thought you saw everything there was in that demo. Oh, I saw enough of the air ride, the city trial segment in that demo we all played together for the weekend. No, the fuck you didn't. I'm comparing notes on the Super Pod Discord, like, and Aaron's popping in like, what the fuck is that shit? Like, look, we're all seeing this together.
But Steve, I saw Gordos fall from the sky.
That's just barely scraping what's going on.
Okay.
And I'll tell you a little bit about this single player campaign. It's not really a roguelike. It's rogue-ish. It's rogue-esque. It's rogue adjacent.
That's what it looked like to me from the presentation, but I wasn't sure.
I mean, it's not really. The game wants you to succeed. I played it on normal and then again on hard to get to the real ending. The game wants you to succeed. It's going to push you back only a certain amount if you don't have enough money to continue. And what's at the real end of the trip, I'm not going to tell you, because people should play the game. And although a lot of people still might not cling to it, because as more popular people than me have said, this is a game for sickos. It was made by a sicko for the sickos.
It really is, though.
It really fucking is. But you know what? It's fucking amazing. He really did pull the fuck out, and seeing as this was fixing the mistake from 20 years ago, come on, he needs to fix the mistake from 10ish years ago with Kid Icarus Uprising. Come on, please let him fucking do it already.
I don't know, man. I think he's already in Smash mode. He got to make this because he's making Smash 7 or whatever it is now.
But I know. I need him to do it.
All right, Kevin, what are your goaties?
okay. I really struggled with number 3. I debated on Bonanza for number 3 as well, but I landed at Silk Song. If anybody listened to Fine Time when I was on at any point last year, you probably heard me talk about Silk Song. It's been years, I think, since I've had a game so have its claws in my emotions so much. And I bitched about Silk Song at length many times.
Yes. We're waiting for you to again.
When I was just finishing it up, but I think I think I'm going to need a little bit of time, after this to kind of be able to look at it in retrospect against Hollow Knight. I think Hollow Knight is a decidedly better game. I think Silksong is a great game for like the right person. And I still maintain, I don't know if I'm ever going to go back and like start that game from the start again. But I even just talking about it now, I can feel those fucking emotions coming back up to the surface. I just like felt like I was like putting so much of myself into playing that, and I don't know. It was literally all consuming when I played that. I had weeks and weeks of, anytime I was like driving or doing something that didn't like require me to actively be engaged, I was like obsessing over thinking about that game. And yeah, it's hard to like even define how I feel about that experience, but it's good. It's got to stay at number 3. It doesn't deserve number 2 or number 1 because it fucking pissed me off to the high heavens.
I can hear it in your voice right now.
I can feel some of that pissed offness as I speak. I won't start getting into some of the more frustrating bosses at this point. Number two is Avowed. And I was so impressed with that game. I remember when we were doing the show about that, and I think I used the phrase like cutting the fat probably 3 or 4 times. They did such a good job. You know what? When we were just talking about Anthem, that's such a good way to relate it. And when we were talking about that section where they like took all that shit that they wanted to make you do and force you to do it with no incentive. And Avowed was literally the exact opposite of that. I felt like they didn't try and force anything into that game for just the sake of doing it and adding more mechanics and systems. I felt like they didn't make you do anything, but they incentivized doing stuff because it's fucking fun. There was no point in my time with Avowed where it felt like I hit like a big lull, or it felt like a slog, or I felt like any of the mechanics. Even, obviously we were contrasting that to Skyrim, right? You talk about like games where you're forced to do stealth areas. You're forced to that. The blacksmith wants you to go like find X amount of materials so he can fucking build this sword, just because it's like, hey, you have to do this once so that you can do it. And Avowed, I just felt like it gave so much agency to the player that there's a lot of cool shit in here, and we're going to make it look appealing from the outside, but we're not going to fucking make you do it unless you want to. And the older I get, the more that kind of like just design philosophy I find really appealing.
I really, I think back on that game a lot now, and I really think about the characters more than the world or anything else you did in it. I just like the people you traveled with, and they all had very different opinions about the choices you make, and I thought that was great. Because usually companions in games like this don't really amount to much. You just kind of fight along with you, and that's it. They don't really have their own shit going on, and this was very different.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't even think of anything about that game to criticize, to be honest. I don't remember at the time when we reviewed it if I had any like minor nitpicks, but looking back on it, it's just a like bright and sunny experience to me. So
I didn't like the dungeons very much. I think that was like my biggest criticism, if you remember. But other than that, yeah, I would give that. It's not that often that I like have a game that I would recommend to almost anybody, but I would recommend Avowed to almost anybody. If you like video games, Avowed is a fucking great video game. Number 1 is Prime 4. That was such a I think, and I almost wish that I had like a little bit more time beyond that to like make that decision, because maybe there's some recency bias. But like, not only just the game, it just felt like such an experience every time I like sat down to play that game. I think I was cognizant of the fact that I'm playing like the new Metroid Prime game, and
I did not want to finish that game when I knew we were doing the show on it, and I delayed finishing it until the 11th hour, because I just didn't want that whole period of my life where I'm playing Prime 4 for the first time to end. You guys gave me a little bit, when you guys were like, oh, we think Prime 5 isn't that far down the road, that gives me a little bit of hope that I didn't need to fucking cling on to that with my cold dead fingers quite so hard. But yeah, if you want to hear us talk more about Prime 4, we have a recent show. I won't blather on for too long about it, but I really did enjoy my time with it.
Yeah, we also can't, on this show where we're not doing spoilers, talk about why we think Prime 5 is right around the corner. But, yeah, for sure. I think me and Steve are going to be, if you gave us place your bets on that one, I will put a pretty penny on that shit. But that's a very, very future bet.
I would be pre-spending some of my Anthem money on that outcome.
We got to do place your bet soon. I can do Prime 5 is announced by like E3 season this year.
I don't think they're going to say it this year. No. I think they're going to announce it in 27. So we're going to have to hold our shit together for another year and a half.
I can't like trick you into throwing some money on that.
No, I would be shocked. I mean, I would love that. I would be shocked if they did it by then, though. All right, we want to end this show in Fine Time style. I mean, it's always Fine Time style, but this is a very Fine Time segment, okay? None of these other hoes out here are doing this, all right? What we're going to do right now, we are going to decide, round robin style, what our worst take of 2025 was, okay? Worst take of the year. But again, round robin. So here's what's going to happen. I am going to pick Kevin's worst take of the year. Kevin is going to pick Steve's worst take of the year. Steve's going to pick my worst take of the year. That's how we're going to do it. We were banging around how to do this, you know what I mean? I just decided, you know what? We need to be the decider of the other people. Next year if we do this again, we can mix it up, choose other people's worst takes, but I feel like this is the most fair. Except it's not fair at all. It's very judgmental and very harsh, and we're just deciding, okay, worst take of the year. What do you guys say?
I think this is the most important award of the year. That's why we're doing it after Game of the Year. This is what really matters.
Okay. I believe so, Steve.
I think Kevin just nailed it. As far as our listeners are concerned, I mean, everyone has a Game of the Year, but a worst take of the year? Oh, man.
Yeah. Steve, I want you to go first, okay? Why don't you present we'll have a little forward. We all have the clip here. We're going to play our worst take. So Steve, why don't you set it up for us? Say as little or as much as you want about this before I play this.
Well, I know what you said we were supposed to do, but I found a block of time where your worst take also happens to be Kevin's worst take, in my personal opinion. It just happened to work out that way.
I mean, Kevin, I feel like he's trying to cheat here and take us both out.
I think he is cheating, like, big time. I don't know. Is there like a body that kind of governs how the awards are handed out, or something we can talk to?
I don't know. On our first take ever, I don't think we have any real precedent. I think we're just going to have to let it stand for now and decide his punishment later.
Okay.
All right. Well, okay. My worst take of the year featuring Kevin. Here we go.
Goes on stuff like that. Like that's what I really like. They kind of show a side profile and how much wiggle room it has. Like, I'm surprised you weren't like, okay, this is where the real value is. And even like presentation wise, I do feel, sure, it wasn't haunted, but you run across the screen of the Switch and it's very slippery, and then once in a while you'll like lose your traction and go sliding on your bum, like stuff like that. I thought that
I did that,
like, carried the charm.
I think so too. And that's what I'm going to push back on with Steve. I think that like sterile, clean, crisp presentation is like, I love when Nintendo does that. That goes back to Wii when they started doing that type of shit. And that's kind of what it harkens to when they do that, like, very clean, very clinical, in a good way, in my opinion, kind of presentation. And Welcome Tour is definitely that. So I did enjoy it on that level.
Yeah, but do you think you would have enjoyed the Wii Welcome Tour if they made you pay $10 for it in 2006?
Absolutely, because that thing was a fucking sensation, and that kind of shit was a lot more novel 20 years ago than it is now. So the answer is yes. Absolutely. I know you think I'm full of shit, but I swear to God,
I think you're full of shit with 20 years of experience behind you.
I'm telling you, and here's the thing: I'm gonna recommend Welcome Tour for $10 as well. It's $10. You get a bunch of fun little tech demos, right? Oh God, wasn't that fun? Super Mario Brothers 4K, right? To show off how many pixels are on a screen. That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, man! Like I think that's like valuable stuff. I think that's like worth paying $10 for. There's a bunch of little doodads like that are, oh, that's neat.
But they make you work a little too hard for those dudes.
I stand by my great take, okay. By the way. That's a great take.
Okay, there's defending the Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour, and then there's Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour not only gave me $10, but it also gave me a blowjob and free pizzas for a year.
I don't know,
which is clearly what happened to the two of you, because I'm still waiting for my pizza voucher. I don't want to get my dick sucked after it sucked the two of yours, but
your
holy
dick
shit,
sucks other dicks. Damn.
I'm gonna be honest. Just listening to that clip made me want to go play Welcome Tour some more.
Yeah, I didn't even do everything in it because I got so distracted by Mario Kart World.
Obviously, you all do since you're getting paid by it. Holy shit.
I don't know. Look, that's a great take. Sorry. I stand by it. Welcome Tour is worth $10, Kevin. Wait, I'm glad we banded together against the Steve to defeat him on this, because honestly, he doesn't. I mean, come on.
See, and Steve, I'm pissed off at you for your bad take, and I'm also even more pissed off at you that we had the chance to berate Andre for one of his many shitty takes of the year, and you wasted it.
Yeah.
No, on a good take.
Yeah, you could have fucked me over.
No, you both. In a few years, when the Welcome Tour money dries up, you'll be like, "What the fuck was I doing on day one of the Switch 2 release? Not playing Mario Kart World." Oh man,
just burying ourselves in mountains of coke, screaming out how everybody should buy Welcome Tour.
Yes. I mean, if you don't want to pay $10 for a cool little tech demo, you have no joy in your life. Sorry. I mean, but you know what the problem is, and it's what Steve always does with this type of shit. He treats it like a real game, and it's not a game. It's just a little fucking. It's a toy you fuck off with.
Okay, they made me pay for it though. And they treated it like an educational experience, which...
No, I made you pay for it because I insisted we all play the Welcome Tour game.
They made it like fucking Encarta Museum if it was shitty.
What are you doing? Okay, you know what? We're moving on, okay? I need to play Kevin's worst take, okay? Jesus Christ, my take is good. All right, Kevin. I still can't believe you said this. I'm still not over it. I have cut this down to 3 minutes from several minutes of audio where we argued about this. Okay. And you probably know what it is already.
I do.
Yep. And
I still stand by it for the record.
And Steve, do you know what it is? Don't say it, but do you have a feeling?
No, not anymore. But I'll know it as soon as you start, I'm sure.
Okay. I'm going to play Kevin's worst take of the year right now.
Do we really need to talk about this partner showcase?
Yes. Tell everyone your bad take about it before we start, please.
I don't think this is a bad take, and I think I'm far from the only one. I could not believe when you guys didn't agree with me. I thought this direct sucked. Okay, first of all, they should have had like a legitimate direct probably before Bonanza came out. Now, I know you guys keep saying, well, we're reporting on what happened, not what we think should have happened. And I'm not saying we lie about it, but I think this was the wrong move. Like, again, not saying there was no merit to this. There were a few things. I felt like this was a massive letdown for their first kind of post console launch show. I thought it was fairly garbage.
Okay, we've been doing the show a while. We have watched a fair number of partner directs. Has there ever been a good partner direct that blew us away? That has never happened in the history of Nintendo.
I get that. I just think that if the first showcase thing you want to do after a console launch, if you're deciding that thing is going to be a partner direct, then it's got to be somewhat of a banger.
It's a partner direct. We got games from their partners because everyone always likes to complain, oh, there's no third-party support on Nintendo. Well, here's the third-party support on Nintendo.
I would have rather had nothing, though. They could have.
You're
could
insane.
have
Okay,
put
stop.
Most of this
No. We're not doing that. We would have rather had nothing. Come on, get out of here.
Save the good stuff for a direct, so it feels like it's worth doing.
No, I'm not going to go with you. You would have rather had this not at all? I don't think so.
Yes.
Calm the fuck on.
And Kevin, the path to the end of the year is not as ambiguous as you're making it out to be. Of all the games Nintendo has announced, there's only 2 without a date, and that's Metroid Prime 4 and Splatoon Raiders. And those are going to get dates when there is a real direct in September or October, which you do know they are going to do because they always have a real
October
one.
seems too far away from a console launch.
Here's the thing. I agree with you 90% of the way. I do not think it's good. I would never expect that stuff from a partner direct, and I certainly wouldn't say we shouldn't have had one at all and saved it for a real direct. I think that is actually asinine. Like,
man,
sorry,
I don't fucking see where I literally don't see where you're coming from. I'm not fucking hamming it up for the show. I literally just thought it just felt like such a letdown. Like, if the first thing you're going to show shit off after the new console, if it's going to be a partner direct, then it better be a fucking good one. It was not.
They're never good. When has there ever been a good partner direct?
Oh man,
it's never happened. I'm sorry, Kevin. That has to be like, we're all sitting here listening to this. I still can't believe you said that. I still don't get you.
I swear to God, as I listen to that clip, I'm sitting there going like, yeah, preach, brother.
If I may, if it wasn't for your Switch 2, the Switch 2 welcome tour shit, that would have been my worst take for you too. Because holy shit, you just wouldn't be spoken to, and we do a podcast, so you kind of need to be spoken to a little bit.
If I didn't know you, and I said I saw you on Blue Sky, and I saw you say that, I would probably just block you out of spite. I'm like, I don't need to listen to anything this person has to say ever. If that's your take, I'm like, okay, yeah, I
feel like you guys are in the minority on this one. Nobody fucking liked that partner showcase.
It's a partner showcase.
Oh my God. I'm not relitigating
you grade those on a curve.
Great take, Kevin. Great take.
Again, I cut that down from like 10 minutes of us arguing about that before we started talking about the actual partner showcase. So, thank you. Do you have anything to say about Steve's worst take of the year before you present it?
I don't think it really needs a large introduction.
Okay.
I think it is definitively his worst take of the year, and I think that we can just let the audio speak for itself.
Okay, here we go.
That would require me booting up Welcome Tour again, and unless it gets an update that makes it fun,
listen to this guy. He won't even entertain us, Kevin. He won't even entertain us with his fucking fingers.
This is a time of joy and happiness, Steve. Not the Switch 2 launch and the Welcome Tour shouldn't be full of saltiness.
Yeah,
that's why I played Welcome Tour first, because I knew the second I got a whiff of playing any other game, there was no way I was going to play Welcome Tour.
So you went into it with a bad attitude.
Yep, you sure did.
I'm the further, and that's the other thing. I'm going along the alphabet: room A, room B, room C, and like somewhere around room E or F. I'm like, you know what? Maybe the Switch 2 is kind of mid. Maybe I need to return this thing.
Wow.
Eventually, and then I'm like, no, that's stupid. No, that's stupid. I'm sure once I play real video games, it'll be much better.
That was a bad fucking take.
That was terrible. Kevin, I'm very proud of the way we ganged up on Steve. We got his ass.
I mean, I don't like doing that, but he fucking deserved it.
Yeah.
He deserved it.
He did.
I don't know. It's not like I don't know. I feel like this is the real you're in the minority thing because no one online talks positively about the welcome tour. Nobody.
They should.
It's just you guys.
No, wait, okay, no, it isn't, okay?
They should have lived a little and fucking ponied up the $10 to have a good time.
It's literally just you guys.
It's not. It's people.
Because you guys are getting paid. And I guarantee as soon as, not Reggie, Doug Bowser comes by, he's like, hey, babe, you ready to go somewhere else? You know it. And then drives off with Welcome Tour and leaves you high and dry. You'll be crawling back and saying, oh, man, maybe Welcome Tour wasn't so good after all.
I would have paid $25 for Welcome Tour. I would have paid $24.99 American dollars for Welcome Tour. What do you think of that?
I think that's your first bad take of 2026.
All right. Well, sorry, Kevin. I'm proud of us today. Okay, that's what I'm coming out of this with.
I can't believe that out of any game last year that was such a fucking hot button topic amongst the three of us, it was Welcome Tour.
Yeah, I did not expect this to be so Welcome Tour focused. I really didn't. This is crazy.
It's because you're all insane. I'm medicated. I don't know what your excuses are.
I mean, I don't know, man. You're out here saying Kirby Air Riders is like, you know what? I will before
Kirby Air Riders is the most video game ever made in 2025.
I'm surprised none of us had Mario Kart World. I will say that. I did consider it. I wanted to have it. I really like it a lot.
It couldn't be Mario Kart World after I played Kirby Air Riders.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, see, it's tough. I really like that game, but I just couldn't quite put it up there, unfortunately. Maybe if like Metroid Prime 4 were just like half of it was good and half of it was bad, then like definitely would have put it, because like Mario Kart World's definitely like my number 4 for sure.
You would have done that over Bonanza, hey?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, huh.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have.
I would have said Avowed over Bonanza. I would have said even South at Midnight maybe over Bonanza.
Oh,
actually, yeah. I didn't get a chance to play Doom: The Dark Ages, but you know, yeah. But no, okay, that's our worst takes of the year. You know what? We should definitely do that again next year. I was laughing my ass off while listening to us. That is great. We definitely. I wish we could do it like quarterly, but I don't think we have that many bad takes. Like if we were a more frequent show, like we recorded twice a week, we'd have more bad takes. But like,
I mean, I don't.
Yeah, of course. Oh, you know what? Next year, and I know we were like big deal focused because that's when we all take. We should like pick from each other's like other shows too. Like if you have a shitty take on like, I don't know, Brothership, like Mario and Luigi Brothership coming up, I should pluck that. Or like, yeah.
Well,
Steve and I got into it on Brothership a little bit.
So I can't wait for the fireworks.
Yeah, but that was out of respect for each other as people who played the game. I don't think Andre could really pick up such a bad take or a good take because he hasn't played it. He's just like, oh well, I saw online that it wasn't very good. So
if they want to respect me and love me and make a version that's 60 frames a second for Switch 2, then I'll play it. Till then, I'm not going to do it. How about that? That's the most me thing I could say right now.
That is true.
It sure is.
Okay, we've talked enough, guys. Thanks for this probably long show. I don't know how long it's going to be before I cut this down to size. But thanks for joining us. We've been doing this for 4 fucking years. I cannot believe it. It's weird, but it's been a long time. And we look forward to many more long times. That doesn't make any sense. In any event, check the description of this podcast to find our links on social media, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
You've been listening to